Huge Pop from the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. I'd like to bring to you a special promotion of mine that I'm dear friends with Herb Simmons from SICW, play SICW All Stars. If you have anything that you'd like to comment in the comment section, please do so. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SICW All Star Wrestling. I'm Drew Ebenhouse, and what a treat. I'm starting the show off. I've got this man the whole show, No Lucky Larson.
It's great to be here, Drew. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here in the SICW, the number one wrestling organization in the United States.
You bet, ladies and gentlemen. He's the one and only Ron Powers, and he's going to be hanging out with us all throughout this episode. We've got a great show for you, ladies and gentlemen. Your main event, 6-man tag team action as the Top Guns, Brandon Beretta and Joe Vanetti, will team up with the very popular Billy McNeil, and will take on, here's a trio for you, give you a headache, your Canadian hero, Sean Vincent, Big Nasty, Glenn Williams, and the astonishing Austin Mulitalo. That's going to be a fantastic match. Plus, Pretty Boy Sean Douglas is in the house tonight. The one and only Attila Khan is back, and who knows what sort of destruction he's got for us today. The Night Train Gary Jackson is here, plus much more. So let's head to the ring now for your first match. Ladies and gentlemen, your opening contest set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, making his way to us from Turner, Kansas, weighing 224 pounds, Johnny Joe Black. His opponent from San Francisco, California, weighing in at 214 pounds, Pretty Boy Sean Douglas. Senior referee Nick Ridenauer calls for the bell on this opening matchup. Sean Douglas and Johnny Joe Black going one-on-one. Ron, it's like a Christmas after the fact here in February for me. Lucky Pete Larson's out of here. You're hanging out with me. I don't know if you know Lucky Pete Larson very well. He's a lot to deal with.
I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are a lot to deal with.
You know, Travis Cook went away. We don't have to deal with Travis anymore. But the two guys that popped up in his place are almost worse, if that's possible. I don't know. I've dealt with all three of them, and it's cost me a lot of money in Excedrin. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since I've been around. I'm just right now learning the names, getting to know the people and stuff. It's really seems like a good thing you got going here. I know you got the ACE training school.
Yes.
Gets a lot of these guys. Some of these guys are in that school. Some of these guys are really learning a lot from Bob and the other guys down there that teach. And so you guys got a class act here, that's for sure.
We appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. It's a nice balance between guys like the Big Texan, Gary Jackson. I'll even give people like Sean Vincent props because these are all wrestlers who have been doing this 20 years plus. But now we have an influx of new, younger talent, and that does two things. First of all, having older, experienced talent is amazing for a younger fellow like Sean Douglas, who can only improve picking the brains and watching people like Gary Jackson.
Well, you know, at this time of your career, it's not about winning or losing. It's about the experience. It's about getting to know what you're doing, being at peace in the ring, just understanding what it takes to get the job done.
Absolutely, and Sean Douglas looked pretty at peace right there, just crushing the neck and the throat of Johnny Joe Black on the middle ropes. And Johnny Joe struggling to gain his footing in this match. Look at that. Look at the look on the face of Sean Douglas. He's a very confident young man, and he's only 18 years old, is Sean Douglas.
Well, in this sport, you have to be confident. If you lose your confidence, you're toast.
Absolutely. You remember what it's like to be an 18-year-old?
No.
Me neither. Sean Douglas got a bit of an attitude. He's the pretty boy, but that's self-proclaimed. He calls himself pretty boy. So this new persona is really allowing him to step out of his old shoes. He's starting to get to know himself. And what better place to do that? And on the flip side, I was saying earlier, the good thing about having younger and older people mixed together is it keeps people like Gary Jackson, Bobby D, they keep learning when they're exposed to younger talent, because these kids now, like I said, Sean Douglas, 18 years old, he's in the wrong place right now. Sean Douglas might be ready to go out. He's got almost a sleeper hold. You've been expanding your jiu-jitsu repertoire. There was a little bit of jiu-jitsu on the mat there, not anymore. But
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a sport that definitely changed my life. It's a lot different than this. You know, in jiu-jitsu, you learn how to fight on your back. In this sport, you never want to be on your back. So.
what do you always been somebody who likes inflicting pain. Is it more satisfying to choke a man unconscious or to punch a man unconscious?
Well, let's see.
You're talented. You're very equipped to do both.
Back then, it was probably punch a guy. Now it's choking a guy. Like I said, snap, nap, or tap.
There it is. Look at that. Sean Douglas, speaking of snap, nap, or tap, had a cross face. He switched that up to a front face lock on Johnny Joe. Johnny Joe is one half of a brother duo out of Turner, Kansas. Johnny Joe and Billy Joe Black have added a nice wrinkle to the tag team scene here. But this Sean Douglas.
That was a good move.
Absolutely. Knee to the face. We've seen him use that. Very simple. Knee to the face. Gets the job done. Knocks a man unconscious.
This kid's got a future.
Absolutely it is. Pretty boy Sean Douglas victorious via pinfall in your opening contest here on All Star Wrestling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Destiny Lynch, and she is going to talk with Brandon Beretta and Joe Vanetti just days ahead of their huge tag team rematch this Friday night in Belleville, Illinois.
SICW, we're here with the top guns, Joe Vanetti and Brandon Beretta. Joe, things got a little heated at your match for the tag team titles with the LA Hustlers. Any comments?
You're absolutely right. Things did get pretty hectic, Destiny. Last time that we met the LA Hustlers, we let the emotions get the best of us. I don't blame Brandon one bit. I would have done the same thing. I would have grabbed that briefcase and I would have smacked Bradley right across the forehead with that too. But February 9th, Friday night, we meet them again.
That was very kind of Herb to take into account everything that happened tonight and give you guys another match. I think that you deserve it. Brandon, you guys have a main event coming up tonight with Billy McNeil. How do you feel going into that match?
You know, tonight the Top Guns are in the main event. We're going against the A-Team and astonishing Austin Mulatalo. And we got Billy McNeil on the side with the Top Guns. I've tagged with Billy before in the past. We've worked great as a team. And now, the three of us, we're going to walk through the A-Team and astonish Austin Mulatalo now that he's back in SICW in tonight's main event. And then we go to February 9th, Friday night, back at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds, and we get the LA Hustlers one more time. No disqualification, anything goes. And the Top Guns are going to do everything in our power to walk out tag team champions.
They're fired up tonight, folks. We're going ringside for our next match.
Ladies and gentlemen, this matchup set for one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, makes his way to us from Kansas City, Missouri, weighing 230 pounds, Rex Amadeus. His opponent, accompanied to the ring by the Merchant of Violence, Stephen E., representing Devastation Incorporated, from Mongolia, weighing 277 pounds, Attila Khan. The bell has rung, ladies and gentlemen. This contest underway. What a test this is to newcomer Rex Amadeus here in SICW, facing arguably the most dangerous man in the Midwest. No offense, Mr. Powers, in Attila Khan.
No offense taken. I've had many battles with this man. I know what he's about, and this kid's about ready to find out.
Just an absolute war machine is Attila Khan. He's violent. He's unpredictable. He is dangerous. I don't know. I think he may be luring Rex Amadeus into a false sense of security. Rex, I think, thinks he's got it under control. Never mind. All it took one headbutt.
Yeah.
I'm sure you felt that headbutt many times.
I'll tell you what, Khan's got a heck of an offense. He's got plenty of weapons in his arsenal, and now he's managed by this. What's his name?
Stephen E.
Yeah, Stephen E. He's new on the scene. Is this the guy that I've been hearing so much about that's trying to take over the SICW?
Absolutely. He's been making
This is
offers
him.
to Herb
Okay,
Simmons
this
for
is
many
him.
months
Okay.
unsuccessfully. He's got these unknown backers in the Middle East, as you can see by his attire there, and he's accumulated double throat thrust right to the throat, obviously, of Rex Amadeus.
I felt that a few times.
Attila Khan, left to his own devices, can almost be a mindless monster. He destroys but doesn't think too much about it. With the addition of Stephen E. to Attila Khan's violence, there's a little bit of pre-planning, there's some strategy, and that's dangerous
I've
for
heard
everybody.
a lot about this Stephen New. I'll tell you, I'm a little concerned as far as what he's bringing to this promotion. I'll tell you what, if he's got more guys like Khan, there are going to be a lot to deal with.
Absolutely, of course, since then, this might be it. Cobra clutch style maneuver, submission chokehold from the Mongolian monster. Rex Amadeus forced to tap out. Khan better let go. They will reverse the decision, and he did. See, there's the added intelligence to what used to be just a pure monster. Stephen E. It's been more dangerous ever since Attila Khan lost the classic title to Big Texan. He's unstoppable.
I'll tell you what, it brings back a lot of memories.
There's a memory that could be you again. What would happen if they tried to cover you with a foreign flag?
I'm trying to talk Danny out of it. No.
Well, look at that. Oh, look at that. Attila Khan staring you down. I need to move out of the way just of this gaze. Good Lord. Ron Powers, Attila Khan, neither man breaking eye contact, ladies and gentlemen. You can feel the tension here in East Carondelet. All right, you're good. Settle. You stay here. Don't let them lure you in. That's what they want. Oh, God. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, the Attila Khan victorious. Let me head to ringside. Let me grab a few words from Stephen E. Try to compose yourself. Stay contained. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the winner of this last match, Attila Khan, the manager, Stephen E. Devastation Incorporated, on a tear just days away from your title rematch this Friday night in Belleville, Illinois.
Let that be an example to what happens to people who cross me. You see, my name is Stephen E. and I represent Devastation Incorporated, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. I hold the contract to the most dangerous man in professional wrestling, Attila Khan. When I come out here and I want to get something done, I get it done. My investors in the Middle East are not very happy. They are not very happy with the way that it turned out in Belleville a few weeks back, and they know that Stephen E. can get the job done, and that's what Stephen E. is going to do. When Devastation Incorporated shows up, we take care of business. And you know what? February 9th, Peyton Ayers and the Big Testing, it's going to be just like that. We're going to take care of business. And I don't care if they put that stinking referee, Danny Boy Hawkins, in there. I've got something for Danny Boy Hawkins. He put his hands on me, and that's not what you do. I'm the leader of Devastation Incorporated.
How are you going to keep composed? It seems like Danny Boy getting physical with yourself has made you a little unhinged. Are you going to be able to keep it together in order to manage your man Peyton to a potential classic championship victory?
Here's the deal, Dr. Drew. When you've got the money, you've got the power. When you've got the power, you make the rules. And that's what Devastation Incorporated is doing, is we're making the rules. You know what happens in Belleville? We're going to walk out with a victory.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's this Friday night. We're just days away. February the 9th, Belclaire Fairgrounds. Peyton Ayers, your man, challenges Big Texan once again. Can they get it done? You have to be there this Friday in Belleville to find out. Thanks, Steven.
Herb Simmons, I know you're watching out there. You better pick up the phone and you better answer me. We've got a standing offer for this company, and at the end of the day, you can't ignore that. The U.S. justice system will not allow it, because Skandar taught me the power of the judicial system here in the United States, and that's what we're going to use to get the job done.
Strong words from Stephen E. They can prove what they're saying this Friday in Belleville. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to this week's edition of the Promoter's Corner. Don't go anywhere.
Wrestling fans, join SICW when we return to the Belclair Fairgrounds on Friday night. That's right, Friday night, February 9th. SICW returns and already announced a double main event when the LA Hustlers battle the Top Guns for the SICW Tag Team Championship in a no disqualification match. And also a rematch of the SICW Classic Championship match when Peyton Ayers will take on the Big Texan with special guest referee Danny Boy. Join us Friday, February 9th at the Belclair Fairgrounds. Wrestling fans, one of SICW's newest sponsors for FanFest 2 is KC Insurance. For all your insurance needs, look to KC Insurance. Wrestling fans, you looking for the best in daily lunch specials and great menu food items? Look no further than Layla's Roadhouse, 440 Falling Springs Road in Cahokia Heights, Illinois. That's right, a family sit-down dining and always great specials. Also has the best pizza in the area.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from commercial break, and now it is time to see what Mr. Herb Simmons has in store for us on this week's edition of the Promoter's Corner.
A special attraction, a one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Portland, Oregon, weighing 266 pounds, the Missouri State Champion, Ken Patera. From Amarillo, Texas, weighing 238 pounds, Tommy Sharp.
Ken Patera, maybe the world's strongest man, is chased back by Tommy Sharp, who's obviously anxious for this big opportunity against the Missouri State Champion. You're going to get it, boy, says Ken Patera to Tommy Sharp. He's threatening to take a swat at Sharp with the Missouri title belt. One of the most valuable prizes in wrestling, the Missouri State Championship. It belongs to Ken Patera now. He took it away from Kevin Von Erich. He's going to be defending it against Ted DiBiase, the man who nearly ripped it from the grasp of Ken Patera not too long ago. Patera goes outside the ring to remove the rest of his warm-up gear. Ken Patera, what a powerhouse. 266 pounds of muscle, but there's a brain in there with it, and that is what makes him dangerous, the brain that goes along with that muscle. He's a good ring general. You'll get yours, boy, says Ken Patera. The crowd yelling about DiBiase, and that little barb struck home. Tommy Sharp, obviously geared to fever pitch. Patera knows it. He's going to let Sharp get anxious. Let Sharp charge it. Maybe he'll make a mistake. Although Patera quickly with that side headlock. He's rolled on his shoulders, but not for long. Joe Tangaro, the referee, was right there to make a count if it had been necessary. Front face lock by Patera on Tommy Sharp. Over the top goes Sharp. Patera showing you some good basic moves right there. I noticed that he's wearing a knee brace. He had a bad knee, and I'll tell you, when he was trapped in that figure four leg lock of Ted DiBiase for such a long period of time, did not help matters. And I understand that Patera's been having knee problems ever since that match with DiBiase. And a lot of that has to be because of the figure four leg lock that DiBiase had Patera trapped in during the entire last minute of the draw. Sharp going for the leg. You've got to believe that when DiBiase gets another crack at the Missouri title, he's going to attack that leg. He's going for the knee again. You have to believe that. Sharp with a standing leg split, and Patera lifted right off the mat. His hips are by the pressure from that standing leg split of Tommy Sharp. Good balance there by Tommy Sharp as he twists the ankle of Patera. Sharp turning that leg around. Patera crying out. And there's the knee, the damaged knee. And how much of that damage is the compliments of Ted DiBiase? Well, only Patera could tell you, and I don't think he would admit it anyway. He's tough. Speaking of knees, I know Ken was very sorry to hear about the knee injury his good friend Tom Stock, a fellow weightlifter who's been after many of Patera's records. Stock suffered a bad knee injury, and Ken Patera was very sorry to hear that. He knows how troublesome knees can be for a wrestler or a lifter. Ken Patera, maybe the world's strongest man. You could fill a dictionary with all of the different records that Ken Patera has in the weightlifting world, all the medals, all the honors that he's won. And in biggest honor of all, in wrestling, he's after the World Heavyweight Championship. As long as he has this Missouri State title, he's one leg up toward getting a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship. Sharp slammed head first into the buckle by Patera. Patera lifts Sharp, manhandling him, slams him backwards. A 238-pounder is pitched around with ease by Patera. Sharp comes off the rope. Patera catches him with the bear hug. The bear hug by Ken Patera, squeezing Tommy Sharp. The powerful Patera squeezing Sharp, trying to wring out a submission from Sharp. If anybody can do it, it's Ken Patera. Rest assured of that. Sharp hanging in there, not giving up. Now he's trying to find room to squeeze his hand in there. If he can get that arm down inside the elbow, he might be able to break the bear hug. He couldn't get it through. He couldn't get it through those burly arms, Patera. Now Sharp pulls the hair and pops the ears of Patera. A forearm smash to the jaw, knee lift from Patera. Patera limping, favoring that leg. A knee to the back from Ken Patera. Even with that gimpy knee, Patera's power can still get him through a lot of tight spots. That forearm's like a sledgehammer when it scores. Right into the spine, right into the lower back. Don't tell me what to do, yells Patera at Joe Tangaro, who cautioned Patera about pulling the tights. The forearm itself is perfectly legal, no problem there. Patera lifts Sharp, high, and look at how he's lifting him and just pitches him away. Just throwing him away. Flying elbow drop.
5 minutes of elapsed, 5 minutes left.
Count of two, and Sharp pushes off Patera. A cut has been opened up across the bridge of the nose of Tommy Sharp. Sharp bleeding. Sharp pitched to the rope by Patera. Oh, he clotheslined Sharp. Patera nearly taking off Tommy Sharp's head, catching him with that forearm right to the throat. Sharp staggered his feet. But look at Patera. He circles behind. There's the full Nelson, and that sets him up for the swinging neck breaker or the full Nelson. He's just going to wring it right out of Sharp, forcing that head down. The full Nelson with all the power, all the muscle in the world right behind it. Patera jamming that neck down, and Sharp submits Missouri State champion Ken Patera with the full Nelson. The full Nelson proving the difference, and Patera's might. What a weapon. What a weapon that power is. Let's hear from Mickey.
In 5 minutes and 45 seconds, the full Nelson. The winner, Missouri State champion Ken Patera.
And there is always excitement during a Wrestle Royal, especially when the bruiser is involved. Tyler lines it down. Look out! There goes Tyler! At 5:14, Buzz Tyler is eliminated. Kerry Brown did the honors. Ducking a punch, and Tyler's eliminated. Give Kerry Brown all sorts of credit for that. After the beating he took against Tyler, he gets some revenge right there as Tyler is pitched out of the ring. It's now a four-man Wrestle Royal. Takachio with a chop to the head of the bruiser. Look out! Kerry Brown's pitched out. In 5:42, Kerry Brown is eliminated. It's now the bruiser with Mike George and Takachio. The curfew expiring. It's down to a three-man Wrestle Royal, and Kerry Brown has been injured in that fall over the top rope. The bruiser slams the head of George and Takachio together. Some of the other wrestlers still watching from ringside. We see Tommy Sharp still here watching the action. George pounding on the back of the bruiser. The bruiser outnumbered now 2 against 1. Takachio and George. Takachio chopping on the head of Dick the Bruiser. They'd love to get the bruiser out of here.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
2 minutes remaining, and Mike George took a chop from Takachio. Look at the bruiser. Look what he sees. They're both going out. That's it. The bruiser saw Takachio and George. And Dick the Bruiser wins the Wrestle Royal, bringing this crowd to its feet. The crowd brought to its feet as Dick the Bruiser has won the 8-man Wrestle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was this week's edition of the Promoter's Corner. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, the Night Train himself, Gary Jackson, is in action right after this.
Backed by popular demand, it's the SICW Fan Fest 2, May 17th and 18th in St. Louis.
Get your tickets now. Get your tickets now.
See the stars of professional wrestling from today and yesterday, Hall of Famers and the next generation of superstars. More names to be announced soon. Get your tickets now. SICW.org. That's SICW.org.
Wrestling fans, there's nothing better than barbecue and wrestling. When you're hungry, stop by Mr. Barbecue with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Waterloo, Illinois. Great barbecue, cold beverages, and SICW wrestling. Wrestling fans, join SICW when we return to the Belle Claire Fairgrounds on Friday night. That's right, Friday night, February 9th. SICW returns and already announced a double main event when the LA Hustlers battle the Top Guns for the SICW Tag Team Championship in a no disqualification match, and also a rematch of the SICW Classic Championship match when Peyton Ayers will take on the Big Texan with special guest referee Danny Boy. Join us Friday, February 9th at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds.
SICW, I'm here with the Canadian hero, Sean Vincent, and his tag partner, the Big Nasty, Glenn Williams, making up SICW's The Team. Well, guys,
Team.
The Team.
Listen here,
It's
Lady
French.
Drew. Listen
It's
here,
French.
Lady Drew. If you're gonna say our name, you say it right. It's the A Team. And you know what? Here's what I want to talk about. In the main event, we face the Top Guns and Billy McNeil in a 6-man tag.
Lady Drew, are you talking about the tag team that we have beaten time and time again? The tag team that is going to be potentially facing the LA Hustlers for the SICW tag team titles, which by all reason, we should be the front runners for the tag team championships. I mean, would you agree, Lady Drew? Of course you agree. Absolutely, she's stunned. Bobby D. You know, I've seen him hobble around here lately. I can't imagine why.
I don't know whose fault.
I think he had a little less potassium in his diet. He wouldn't be cramping so bad that leg.
See, here's what's going to happen. In 2024, we have a mission. We have accepted our fate, and we are not going to stop until you and I are the SICW Tag Team Champions. And it starts today in the main event when we take the Top Guns and I lock Brandon in that Greco-Roman Glenplex and throw them back like it's dollar beer night. You know what I'm saying?
Listen here, Pop Guns. Tonight, you face the A team of SICW, and maybe we'll prove to Herb Simmons that we are going to be for those tag team titles, but not just the tag team titles. It's 2024, baby. Why don't we take it all?
That's right. Let's hold all of the gold. Maybe you get the heavyweight title. We get the tag titles. Maybe you and I can have joint custody again of the Central States title. That sounds great.
How about you, Lady Drew? What do you think?
I think you guys have a lot of big dreams this year.
That's right. and we're going to make every single one of them happen. We ended 2023 with wins. We've started 2024 with a win, and the tour of 2024, the winning tour, keeps rolling as we mow over Billy McNeil and the Top Guns on your main event. I'm telling you now, we will get a tag title shot. I don't care who wins between the Hustlers and the Top Guns. Herb, we want next.
That's right. Oh, and Austin Militalo. We forgot about him. He's tagging with us tonight. Austin Militalo.
He's got a title.
Yeah. Missouri State champion. We're all winning tonight, baby. We're all winning.
Males TJ Maxx Ross card.
Champ. Winner. Thanks, ladies.
Well, they're all wound up for the main event. We're going to our next match.
Ladies and gentlemen, this matchup set for one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Turner, Kansas, weighing in at 228 pounds, Billy Joe Black. His opponent is from Petticoat Junction, weighing in at 220 pounds. He is the Night Train, Gary Jackson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Henson calls for the bell. And once again, I am here with the one, the only, Mr. Ron Powers, calling Gary Jackson versus Billy Joe Black.
Oh, thank you, Drew. Appreciate that.
No, appreciate you sticking around.
Yeah,
How much do we owe you?
I don't mean anything. It's just great to come back and see guys like Gary still in the ring.
Absolutely. That has to create an itch that you want to scratch. It's Danny Boy Hawkins. It's Attila Khan. It's Gary Jackson. These are men that you traveled the roads with, that you shared a large chunk of your career with. It doesn't give you a little bit of, the kids call it FOMO, fear of missing out. You don't fear that you're missing out on anything when you see these guys?
I weigh the good with the bad, the positives with the negatives, and I kind of see where I'm at in this point in my life, and I just don't think it's anything for me. But, do I miss it? Yeah, I miss it. I mean, I miss getting in that ring and doing what I can do, but unfortunately, I can't do those things anymore. So,
but one thing that I'm sure you don't miss, the bumps, the bruises, the broken bones. How are you feeling now? I know you still compete in jiu-jitsu, so I'm sure you're not always at 100%, but how are you feeling? How's the back? How's the knees? How's the neck?
Well, I mean, wrestling took its toll on me. From the ground up, it's just it's tough to get around. In cold weather, it's twice as hard. And just between all the aches and pains and arthritis and corporate level, it's just it's taking its toll on me. So
understandable. That's why every time you watch Gary Jackson in action, it's something special. I don't want to call him a modern day miracle, and I don't want to expose numbers, but I guess I will. Gary Jackson, he doesn't look it. Gary's 62, closing in on 63.
Yeah, right around. He doesn't, and he
says,
doesn't age.
When I ask him those questions, he says he feels good. His knees are good. His ankles are good. His back feels all right. And I always tell younger wrestlers that'll listen, study Gary Jackson. He wrestles the same way today that he did in 1984.
Oh, for sure.
And as a result of that, he's still able to do what he does. You don't see him jumping off of anything crazy.
Nope.
You don't see him use weapons too often. Not as many chair shots as someone like yourself may have enjoyed.
No, he keeps it to a strong basic routine, and it's worked for him.
Fundamentals, fundamental wrestling.
It's worked for him.
And it keeps him healthy. Like that.
No, I'm happy for Gary. I'm happy he's still in there. He's a great guy. He's got a great heart. And
there's no signs of slowing down.
I've known him since I was 18, and he hasn't changed a bit.
Wow. Gary Jackson is an amazing barometer for all of our athletes in the back. How can you hang in there with someone like Gary? He knows how to take shortcuts. He doesn't really do that, at least not at this stage of his career.
Well,
So-
I mean, Gary, I mean, there's ways to take care of yourself. I mean, you find that out in older quarterbacks that come back into the NFL. I mean, they don't have quite the arsenal they used to, but they're still effective. And, and they know it's not what you do, it's when you do it. And Gary's always known when to do it.
Absolutely. It wasn't that long ago. Of course, now it's in the hands of superstar Steve Fender. Gary Jackson was here in SICW. He was our first Central States champion that we crowned about 2-3 years ago. And this is probably going to do it. It's that patented Las Vegas leg lock from the gorgeous one, Gary Jackson, and it got the job done. Hard-fought match on behalf of Billy Joe Black, but the experience edge for Gary Jackson was just too much to overcome from the newcomer.
Oh, Gary's a veteran. I'll tell you what, he knows every trick in the book, and he'll use them.
That's it. Well, congratulations, Gary, on the victory. I'm actually going to head up to ringside and have a few words from Gary Jackson before our main event. Hang in there with us, yeah?
Will do.
All right, thanks, Ron. We'll be right back. Mr. Jackson, I heard you just putting over the fans because they are indeed the best fans in the world. Congratulations to you. Hard-fought win over an up-and-comer in Billy Joe Black, but you got the job done with that Las Vegas leg lock you love so much.
Yes, sir. I would like to say to all our great fans who's here in the studio and who's out there at TV land watching us. Because everybody knows if it wasn't for the great fans sitting at home or the great fans here, it wouldn't be no SICW. Also, I'd like to thank the great promoter, Herb Simmons. Without him, it'd be chaos and confusion in SICW.
Speaking of that, there's a man that's been trying to wrest control of SICW from Herb Simmons, and I believe, like you said, it would cause chaos and confusion if the leader of Devastation Incorporated, the one and only Stephen E., were to somehow be successful in his journey to claim this company. And I know you've been fighting what has been at one time a one-man war against Devastation Incorporated, but you've been accumulating allies, you've been calling in old friends, and maybe I'm reading into it. It seems like you've got them kind of on the run. They're scurrying a little bit.
There's an old saying, are you putting the band back together? Yes, I am. I'm putting the band back together. I keep telling Stephen E., I got friends in the back too. And I'm calling them in. Because there's no way on God's green earth we're going to let him take SICW from Herb Simmons. Herb Simmons got damn near 50 years of more in promoting this.
51 this month.
51. We're not going to let it go. Because I'm here to fight you, Stephen E. I got friends, and we ready to go.
Strong words from the Night Train, just days ahead of a huge night this Friday night at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Gary, congratulations on your big win. We appreciate you.
Last but not least, Stephen E., if you have not heard him, you're ready to hear him again. Rule number 1 is me and my friends are coming to win. Rule number 2 is me and my friends, we won't lose. Rule number 3, me and my friends, we're going to do our best to beat you. And rule number 4, Stephen E., is the most important rule of them all. Don't forget the rules. SICW, thank you so much. And again, Happy New Year.
Gary Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to take one more commercial break. When we come back, your 6-man tag team main event. Don't go away.
Wrestling fans, join SICW when we return to the Belle Claire Fairgrounds on Friday night. That's right, Friday night, February 9th. SICW returns and already announced a double main event when the LA Hustlers battle the Top Guns for the SICW Tag Team Championship in a no disqualification match. And also a rematch of the SICW Classic Championship match when Peyton Ayers will take on the Big Texan with special guest referee Danny Bird. Join us Friday, February 9th at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. The vendors are lining up for FanFest 2 on Saturday, May 18th. We're happy to welcome the Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame as one of our newest sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, your All-Star Wrestling TV main event set for one fall with TV time remaining. At a combined weight of 668 pounds. First, your Canadian hero from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Sean Vincent. Next, from Gary, Indiana, Big Nasty, Glenn Williams. And their partner from Auckland, New Zealand, he is the MSW Missouri Heavyweight Champion, Astonishing Austin Mulitalo. And their opponents at a combined weight of 661 pounds, first from Springfield, Billy McNeil. His partners are from St. Louis, Missouri, Brandon Beretta, Joe Vinetti, the Top Guns.
Never seen these people before.
Referee Denny Thomas calls for the bell. Your main event is underway. Six-man tag team action. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure. I am still here with the one and only Mr. Ron Powers. Ron, thanks for sticking around.
Drew, it's a pleasure to be here. I'll tell you what, you're a heck of a commentator, and I like sitting here doing color with you, man. It's kind of fun. It's a lot funner doing this than just doing that.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate that. And to take a minute before we get to the action, I have to take a moment and thank you personally. When I first started here in SICW, I was very insecure. I didn't think someone like myself could follow in the footsteps of people like Larry Madison. And it was the confidence and the friendship of people like you that made me believe in myself. And I've always appreciated that.
Well, you know, Drew, you do a lot of good for this promotion. I'll tell you what, Herb definitely acquired an asset when he brought you aboard. You've come full circle. You're a hell of an announcer now, and you're definitely a big asset to the SICW.
Well, thank you, sir. Here's a 20. Is that enough?
What's that?
Here's a 20.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
cool?
Yeah, good
We're
enough.
good. All right, appreciate you. Now, this is an amazing matchup. Six-man tag team action means it's going to keep moving. It's fast, it's furious, and this match probably won't get a chance to slow down.
No, six mans are like this. And I'll tell you what, I'm counting the guys in the ring now that I used to be in the ring with, and I'm at one. Sean Vincent. I don't know any of these
You
other
and
guys.
Billy McNeil never ran into each other. He's been around for a long time.
No, I've been out for too long.
Well, Austin Mulitalo, very talented, young and up-and-comer. Of course, recently we've seen an attitude change from Austin, so we'll see how that plays out. Glenn Williams, you've seen his mouth, maybe his biggest asset here, but he's made a great partner for Sean Vincent. Those are two guys that, although they don't mind being obnoxious and all get out, they're actually very talented and have tag team expertise.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can see these guys are very athletic. They're very quick. They know a lot of moves. They got a lot of things going as far as the way they get around.
Yeah, see, look at that. Billy McNeil just did some kind of weird flip twist to get out of the corner. I can't imagine that being a Ron Powers specialty.
No, not anymore. Maybe when I was young.
And, of course, Billy McNeil, you may be unfamiliar with his partners. They are the Top Guns. Brandon and Beretta, Joe Vinetti, two of the very top graduates. These are arguably Cowboy Bob Orton's top students. They've achieved a great deal of success here in SICW. And this Friday night, February the 9th, at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds, they get one more chance. The Top Guns will challenge the LA Hustlers for the tag team titles, and it is no disqualification.
Yeah, I've talked to Bob. Me and Bob have gone out before and talked about his new students and stuff like that. He says these guys are going to go a long way as long as they keep it together.
Look at that. Nice double team maneuver. Joe Vanetti leaping off the back. So does Billy of Brandon Beretta. You hate to be Glenn Williams taking this punishment.
I wonder if he could give me his back like that while I jumped off it.
I don't think it would work the same. I don't think
it'd be a pancake.
You mentioned Cowboy Bob, and I think the Academy and these younger students, I mention all the time how there's a symbiotic relationship between young newcomers and older veterans. The older veterans can learn new tricks from the new dogs, as well as these younger guys can learn things that got Cowboy Bob Orton trained by his father. So you're learning things that really date back to the 50s and 60s philosophy-wise. So if you're a young person that can master those sorts of fundamentals, there's so few young wrestlers who, I hate to say it, who start with the fundamentals and the foundation and work up from there. So many of these guys start with the high flying and then they don't know how to amateur wrestle.
Or they
That's
start
something Bob's teaching all these guys.
Oh, sure. I mean, and they need to learn how to go out there and be themselves instead of doing a gimmick and then trying to fit into the gimmick. You create yourself after you had 2, 3, 4 years of this business. You start to feel a groove. You start to go down a path, and that helps develop you.
Look at that huge chop from Big Nasty to Billy McNeil. You've always had an amazing eye for talent and for the athletes in the ring. Have you ever thought about becoming a manager yourself or a coach or a trainer? I think these young kids help keep Bob young a little bit.
I think so, too. No, I think Bob's got everything under control. Again, I'm not here to get back into the business. I'm just here just to scout the talent. Herb said, come down and check it out. That's what I'm here to do, and it's a real privilege to be here with you, Drew.
I appreciate that very much. It's a privilege and a pleasure for us to have you. Sean Vincent going for the pinfall. Billy McNeil is very resilient. People say he reminds them of Gumby because you could just beat on him and stretch him and he doesn't change. He doesn't take it. It looks like it doesn't hurt him. Of course, if we asked him right now, he would probably say, no, this hurts a lot.
You have to be resilient in this business, that's for sure. Mentally and physically.
Absolutely. Sean Vincent and Billy McNeil go very far back. These guys have known each other 20 plus years, going through multiple promotions here in the St. Louis area. So it's hard for these two to show the other something they haven't seen before because they're so familiar with each other. And that's also why it's so important. No matter how much of a veteran you are, you have to stay evolving. You have to keep learning new tricks. I can't imagine how many competitors that would potentially step into the ring with Ron Powers would expect some sort of jiu-jitsu ace instead of somebody that's just clubbering the crap out of them.
Drew, you and Herb are doing the same thing. You're trying to circle this around. I am not getting back in the ring.
All right. Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Hypothetically speaking.
Glenn Williams, Big Nasty. He's got those big biceps. Right now they're wrapped around the neck of Billy McNeil, but Billy with that jaw jacker. He's got the momentum going in his favor for now. He's been taking a lot of punishment the last several moments. Billy needs to make it into his corner and make the tag to Joe Vanetti or Brandon Beretta.
He's almost there. Keep moving, kid.
He makes it. Huge leaping dive makes the tag. Brandon Beretta, clothesline for everyone. One more for Sean Vincent. Drop kick to Mulitalo. Oh, headed in. I think he telegraphed that one. Glenn Williams got the boot up. What's he got in mind? Big Nasty to the second rope. Oh, Beretta saw him coming, cut him off at the pass.
It's
What's
so
he going
violent.
for here? Maybe a Death Valley driver? A TKO maneuver from Brandon Beretta onto Glenn Williams. Tag to his partner, Joe Vanetti. They've been using this. Oh, no! I thought it was the rocket launcher, but no, it's the LA Hustlers. That calls for the bell. I have to imagine that Glenn Williams, Sean Vincent, and Mulitalo have been disqualified. Huge choke slam. The LA Hustlers with Lucky P. Larson just sending a message, beating down their tag team challengers just 5 days before their huge tag team title match, Friday the 9th in Belleville, Illinois. The LA Hustlers putting it to their opponents. Look at this. Curtis Wilde, he's got a grudge with the Hustlers. There is a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. Billy McNeil using the steps to fly across the ring and take out Glenn Williams. Vincent Williams and Mulitalo, they got the heck out of here. This doesn't have anything to do with them.
There's a lot of action in the ring tonight, Drew.
I can't talk as fast enough as they're going. There's Kowalski. Curtis Wilde and Kowalski have their issues going back many, many months. The Top Guns and the LA Hustlers. Oh, Bradley Diggs laying out another with a choke slam.
And you're asking me if I missed this.
No, I absolutely understand. Oh, here comes the big Texan. We're going to even this out just a little bit. Look how fast Rough Shot Potts and the Notorious Diggs run away. But, of course, maybe that's discretion is the better part of valor. Lucky P saving his men to chase away from the huge tag team title rematch, ladies and gentlemen. Join us this Friday, February the 9th in Belleville, Illinois at the fairgrounds. We're out of time, ladies and gentlemen. The Big Texan sending everybody packing. That's all we got, ladies and gentlemen, for the one and only Ron Powers. I'm Drew Abbenhouse. Thanks for joining us on another excellent episode of All Star Wrestling, fans. We'll see you next week right here. Have a great night, everybody.
See you, everybody.
It's a bad time for bad people. Little Jenny, there'll be no justice for her mom or her kid.
Thank you for watching the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Is broadcasting of SICW All Stars. I appreciate you guys. Continue watching. We love you. Everything else. Take care.